President Obama says it's time to turn the page in Iraq. In a primetime address from the Oval Office last night, the president declared an end to combat operations there. But the cost has been tremendous. In more than 7 years since the U.S.-led invasion, more than 4,400 Americans lost their lives and more than 34,000 troops were wounded. The president paid tribute to their sacrifices.
The Americans who have served in Iraq completed every mission they were given. They defeated a regime that had terrorized its people. Together with Iraqis and coalition partners who made huge sacrifices of their own, our troops fought block by block to help Iraq seize the chance for a better future.
50,000 American troops will remain in Iraq to support security forces, and the president says they still will face danger. Joining us now with more is CBS News military analyst Major Mike Lyons. Mike, good morning to you.
Good morning, Terrell.
If I'm a soldier in Iraq right now, what's the difference tomorrow versus today after combat operations have been declared over?
There's really no difference. That soldier's going to get up tomorrow, have to be as vigilant, possibly even grip his weapon a lot tighter. This is the time when the enemy could look to form some kind of counterattack. So right now the American forces in Iraq are on probably high alert. They're going to remain that way for the next couple of weeks. It's important that everybody understands that the mission for those folks on the ground really isn't over. It's 7 days, 24 hours a day right now still.
We've heard all week long that the president has been trying to avoid those words, those two words, mission accomplished. And he did not say that in the speech last night. But can this mission ever be accomplished?
You know, it's a clear milestone has been established, and it's fantastic that we have the combat troops, the large units and the large pieces of equipment out of Iraq, gives the Iraqi forces and gives the security more time to breathe, so to speak. But now the true test is going to come, and whether the Iraqi security forces are going to be able to step up and provide the level of security that we come to expect from what we see in our country today, for example.
50,000 troops still in Iraq right now. That's after the drawdown. What will those troops be doing now?
Yeah, they're going to look to train the Iraqi security forces, spread out, and kind of like they've divided the country in thirds, a north, a central, and a south portion. They'll look to cut the American forces up in equal quantities in order to make sure we have enough American soldiers aligned with enough Iraqi security forces to make sure we're communicating across borders and cross boundaries, especially amongst those three regions.
Here's the big question. Can Iraq, its security forces, support itself with the drawdown of these troops, not only now with these 50,000, but in the future, maybe even next year?
Yeah, that's a great question, and if they don't stem this Iraqi on Iraqi violence, I'm afraid they could go down a very slippery slope very quickly. So they've got to be successful really early on. The next 90 days will tell whether or not the Iraqi security forces have been successful and trained well. It's been a great 18 months. The question is whether or not the next 12 to 15 months are going to support the level of training that they've had.
And in the next 12 to 15 months, can we realistically expect to bring the rest of those troops home?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think you'll see some kind of deal cut where American forces, Iraqi forces will do joint training operations. We'll couch it in something, but we're just not good at leaving a country in this kind of situation. We have over 35,000 in Korea. We've left troops in World War II. I wouldn't be surprised if you see 10 to 20,000 troops stay in Iraq for a very long time.
Now we talk about Afghanistan. The president hoping what he did last night in Iraq, he can do a year from now in Afghanistan. Is that even realistic?
I'm not sure. The conditions are just not the same. There's no middle class that we had in Iraq. There was a Sunni awakening. You had a reconciliation. The Sunnis put their weapons down and decided to reconcile with the Shia there. There's got a lot more tougher sledding to take place in Afghanistan. We're going to use the same strategy. We're going to take American forces, embed them with these Afghan villages and Afghan security forces, but I'm afraid it's going to be a much tougher road to hoe.
When we go back to Iraq one more time, we have not seen the last American life that will be lost in Iraq, have we?
No, the 4,427 that have been lost will never be forgotten, but anytime you put 50,000 soldiers in an area like that, there's going to be accidents, and I'm afraid we're still going to see more casualties.
CBS News military analyst Major Mike Lyons, we appreciate you joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.